Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2020. We again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day, and what a trading day it is. I do mention this each day, but in my opinion, the most valid time to make your buying and selling decisions are at the end of the day, right before the market closes. During the day, you have the day traders, you have the algorithms, they're battling it out. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in with the largest size of funds, the best knowledge, best equipment, and probably the best skill, and they come in and they take prices away from the day traders and the algorithms and move the prices to what, in my opinion, they think are the most valid prices of the day. So that's why I do make the majority of my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day, outside of the noise. I have been making a few day trades during the last couple of weeks. I did want to show you that the setups that I do use do work in any market, any time frame. However, I did not take any day trades today. I had to go into town, so I came back and went, wow, look at this market. So this is pretty crazy. The market is down 719 points. I believe it was down close to over 800 points, and maybe even close to 900 points at one point today. Unbelievable, especially being that we had the over the 1,000-point drop yesterday. So this is pretty epic. I mean, holy hamburgers! This is pretty insane. So anyway, good teaching moment is that we never know when things are going to crack like this. It's always very, very important, the utmost importance, to position size correctly, because you will run into these, just like it's run into us the last couple days. But if you're position size correctly, it's gonna sting, but it's not going to ruin your account. I mean, there are people out there that are on 2-3 times leverage on margins on futures. I mean, unbelievable the amount of carnage that's going on. So let's take some comfort in that we're position sizing correctly. Yes, we're definitely in a drawdown, no doubt about it, but these things happen and things will return. The market will go up in the future. We just don't know when. But the point is, right now, with all this volatility, is capital preservation, not making money. So let's take a look, see who's here, say hello. Dan is here. Nice to see you, Dan. Hello, Kamal. Good to see you, my friend. Bob is here. Good to see you, Bob. Thank you for coming. Hey, Zach, good to see you. And Deanne is here. Hello, Deanne. Deanne sent me the nicest email. Boy, she and I are two peas in a pod. We love animals. We're pretty simple people. Anyway, thank you so much, Deanne, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Miko25 is here. Hello, nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. Nice to see you again. Hello, Stephen Burns. Steve's the best. Thank you so much for being here, Steve. I really do appreciate it. Always an honor, always a privilege to have you in this group with us. I mean, I'm always excited to have you here, and I really mean that, and I know everyone else is, to be able to rub shoulders with Steve Burns. And thank you so much for all you do with all your courses, all your great books, all the content that you put out. So thank you. Steve says the bull market is infected with coronavirus. It is. It's got a serious flu, no doubt about it. So things are pretty crazy, pretty volatile. I mean, listen, I talk all the time about not buying stocks overvalued, right? For me, basically over the 1ATR channel, buying in value or buying under value. So that's easy to say, but when it comes time, when that actually happens, then it's scary, right? So you have to balance those. You want to have a signal, you want to have a plan, but time after time, buying above value, in my opinion, does not work out that great, and buying these dips works out better. So Joe Turner is here. Good to see you. Christopher Uhl, my man, from 10-Minute Stock Trader. In case you haven't subscribed to Christopher's channel on YouTube, 10-Minute Stock Trader, please do. He has great podcast. He has great guests. He puts out great information. He's a good friend of mine and also friends with Steve. And we are actually doing a podcast. Steve, Christopher, and myself are doing a podcast this coming Friday, so I'm really looking forward to that. Chris says, hey, Greg, saw the notification and thought I'd stop by. Crazy markets. Fire and lightning. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for everything that you do. Hello, Andrea. Andrea and I had a great lesson last night. Really like Andrea. You know, when I have a student and I see that student, when it starts coming together, really makes me happy. You know, because we lay out, you know, I lay out my lessons, we go through step by step, and at the end we try to bring it all together. And I think Andrea is doing really well. We did a few hours of chart study last night, and I think you did great. Steve Burns says, great to see you here, Chris. The channel is the shelter in the storm. Well, it has been a little stormy in this shelter the last couple days, I have to admit, but that's how it goes. Glenn says, hi, Greg. Looks like the gap at 31.21 was filled. Yes, it was. Glenn says, still looking for gaps at 30.95, 30.47, 29.73, and 29.49. Gamer, hey, good to see you, Gamer. Hope to see you. Hope you're staying safe out there. Dirk, hey, Dirk, good to see you again. Thank you for coming by. Anthony, my main man from Long Island. Anthony says, thank God and Greg Gossett smash those likes, people, and that I have developed good trading habit. It stings but not crippled. That's a perfect way to put it, Anthony. It does sting. I've been stung pretty good the last couple days, no doubt about it. And not used to that feeling, but you know, I look back over my trading career, and I've had it so many times. You just never feel like you're going to make another dime ever again. And then there's times where you'll make money and you feel like you're never going to lose, but you know, they always come around, both of them. Christopher, good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a nice evening. Joe says, oh, here we go. Here's a poem from Joe. The market might hurt right now, like getting hit by rocks, but now is the time for us to go out and buy the really cheap stocks. Holy smokes, Joe. I'm not just saying this to blow smoke. I mean, you and Frank with these poems, you really, the two of you should really get together, and you should really put out a trading book, a trading poem book, because it's so relevant, and you're so good, and they're so great, and they have such a good message. That's what I'm really impressed at. Christopher says, we have snow in Leeds. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome to the Snow Club, because we've had it here as well. Andrew says, credit to you. No, credit to both of us, Andrea. Right? Jackson says, hi, Greg, Steve, Chris, and all. Fourth day sitting on my hands. They are getting sore. Man, that's fantastic, Jackson. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad that you have the discipline, and you know, you've saved a lot of money by doing that. Yo, what's up, Mount Doji? Good to see you. We're still alive. We are still alive. Jackson, Steve says, Jackson, sitting on your hands is a safe place to stay. 100%. All right. Well, listen, we've got a lot to do today, so I'm going to get right through it real quick. Format for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to go take a look at my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. This has been a painful process the last couple days, but we've got to do it. After that, we're going to take a look at some of your current positions. We're going to talk about those. After that, we are going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. You know, I always talk about trader psychology, how important it is. And Jackson right there illustrates the discipline of psychology. He has discipline in his trading, which is psychological, right? He's showing discipline by not taking any trades. Because he didn't have whatever he considered would be the right setup, right? So kudos to you, Jackson. But in a market like this, psychology is so important. Sitting on your hands is so important. And then not sitting on your hands is important as well if you get a signal. Most of these deep dip buys, my students know what that means. These dip buys, they're scary to buy. They are so scary, right? But in hindsight, they're generally pretty good places to enter. So, you know, I think Stephen Goldstein has a saying that says, you know, correct trading is about doing nothing when every fiber in your body screams you want to do something, and then doing something when every fiber in your body screams that you don't want to do anything. And I thought that was really, really great. But we are going to talk about some trader psychology. We'll do a few minutes on that. After that, I have already gone through my watch list today. Each stock in my watch list, I have 3 criteria when I look to buy something. First, I want to look for a confluence or a combination of indicators like MACD or RSI or ATR channels, moving averages. I look at each one of those indicators as groups of buyers. You're going to put yourself in the best position to have a profitable trade if you look for a confluence of buyers, or in other words, a confluence of indicators lining up. So that's step 1. Step 2, Want to make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio based upon the resistance above you, legitimate resistance above you, and legitimate support below you. If I'm risking $100, I want to be able to make $200 at least. And third, just make sure you do not have too many correlated positions, right? You don't want to have 5 tech stocks, right? Much better to have an auto stock and a tobacco stock and a healthcare stock and a technology stock, and even going outside like gold, silver, oil, things like that to diversify yourself even more. So I have gone through my watch list. I have marked a few of them that look interesting. And so at the end of the day, I'll take a look, see if they meet my criteria. If they do, I'll enter the trade right before the close of the market. After that, after the market closes, if anybody has any questions, comments, if you'd like me to take a look at any stocks, please do. If you'd like me to take a look at a stock before the market closes, you think it would be helpful for the group, and you want to put a priority on it, please put a star by it. I'll do my very best to get to it before the market closes. And then that's it. That's the plan for today. So let me take a look real quick. What are we at right now? Well, we're still down 771.64 points, so we're still cranking down, but off the lows, which is important. So, all right, I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. I will be back shortly. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okie dokie. All right. Dirk wants to look at UTX. United Technologies. Oh boy. Looks like a lot of charts today. Well, I mean, obviously we're having a huge day down today. It bounced near the 200, 25.48. It's underneath the 30 RSI. Has not pierced the 200-day. I don't think I would get involved with this. I would much rather see it go under the 200 and back over. You know, every rule is meant to be broken, and I went over this with Andrea last night, but generally I do not buy under the 30 RSI. However, if this bar went under the 200 and then back over the 200, rejected it nicely and was still under the 30, I still would take it because I still have a line in the sand. I still have something to focus off of underneath me on some real support. So as is right now, with it being under 30 and not rejecting that 200, I do not think that I would do anything with UTX. Jackson says, I'm glad you did, Steve. I've been watching and not something to be tangled up with. That's right. Steve says, UWM, Dow Jones, DDM all lost their 200-day moving averages today. Yes, they have. I mean, what an epic market to go from 70 RSI right down to under 30 RSI. It's unbelievable. But, you know, these things can happen, and that's why I don't like to buy in the value zone. My trades lately have not been rainbows and butterflies, that's for sure, but at least I can take some comfort in the fact that I did not buy up there and ride these all the way down, right? So anyway, we have to find some bright spots where we can find them, especially like this. All right, let's take a look. Okay, Merck. I did buy Merck yesterday when we went under 30, over 30. We rejected the third ATR channel. And on a day like today, not many stocks can survive this. So it was up earlier, got close to hitting one profit target, if that counts, but it did not. And right now we're at 28.49, which means if it closes under 30, I'm just going to have to get out. take the small loss, but actually Merck has held up pretty well today considering. So again, look for the bright side, and the bright side was it's only down 1.18% and a half position, right? There's two bright sides because it was under the 200 days. So looks very likely I will be getting out of Merck today for a loss. SPY, well, here's a bright spot. World famous SPY trade, everyone. This is a long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. I do buy the SPY each day at the close. I sell it first thing the next morning. And why do I do this? It has nothing to do with technicals, resistance levels, support levels, anything. It just has to do with the process that's been back-tested and has a nice edge, back-tested every day since 1993. First option is buying the SPY at the open each day, selling it at the close. So buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. If you did this each day since 1993, for all your troubles, you would have returned a negative 13.9% return. However, if you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close each day, sell it first thing the next morning, you would have made a positive 634.2% return compared to doing the opposite and making a 13.9% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. That is true, and that goes for every single trading approach. However, I would rather allocate capital to something that has a good back-tested record compared to something that doesn't. And the blue line, which is the buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning, does have a good record. The orange line, which is the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon, does not have a good record. So that is why I buy the SPY every day at the close. And one bright spot in the day here, I did buy the SPY yesterday at 322.42 and sold it for a small profit at 323.90, which is nice. It's great, but the nicer thing is I missed out on all this drama, thankfully. So, you know, have to take the positives where we get them. So actually it was nice to have a decent profitable trade here, at least on the SPY. I will be buying this again at the close today. Okay, this one not so hot tamale. I did buy United Continental yesterday. We had a nice double bottom with a bullish divergence, missing right shoulder actually. Even though we were lower, we did not make any further downward green moves on the MACD, which is momentum. It did also reject the previous low, close back over. So it was a false breakout to the downside with the double bottom and a bullish divergence with a missing right shoulder. Sounds like a lot of great things. Does it mean it goes up? No. It went up initially and it hit my 5% emergency stop. That's 2 emergency stops I've had in 1 week. 3 emergency stocks I've had in 1 year. I think last year, in the entire year, I had 5. So anyway, kind of stepped in this. I did have to get out with an emergency 5% stop today. It is lower than where I currently got out. So, you know, at least I'll take that. It was under the 200-day when I bought it. So luckily, I only took a half position, which helps, right? Still not great, but I only did take a half position. So anyway, definitely, I already got out of this today, so this is gone. Let's get this off. I don't want to look at that anymore because that was brutal. But again, 2 losses today did come on half position, so you know, have to take it where we can get it. Let's take a look here. Nokia. Murat has Nokia. It's been a kind of a wild ride. Way up, then all the way back down. Came into the value zone, lost the value zone today, lost the 50-day moving average, which is not great. A little underwater here, but not bad. So anyway, let me know if there's any changes there. Amon Solo, I didn't talk to Amon Solo yesterday. I know he bought this back here on the 18th, moved up nicely, then sidewards and collapsed yesterday. I have a feeling he got out yesterday. I'm pretty sure he would have, hopefully, because today it's down 6.97%. Bing He, so Bing He did take a trade back here on MAS back on the 20th with this V1 rejection into the 3rd ATR channel. Moves sidewards yesterday, recovered nicely, but today down. So I don't know what Bing He's initial stop loss here is. I imagine it's probably the 30 RSI. So let me know if there's any changes there. And Let's see. Okay. Oh, Deanne, yes. Deanne had Twitter. She bought it yesterday. Looks like today it's down. So Deanne, I wasn't quite sure what the signal that you had was when you bought this or what your plan is, but if you're out there, maybe you can fill me in a little bit on what your plan is, your trade plan with this stock here. Dirk says, UTX in my graph, it was under and now above the 200. That's probably, Dirk, because your settings are based, your moving averages or your platform is set up as far as not accounting for dividends and splits. If I change this, it will probably, see, mine, there you go. See, on yours, it does show because your platform is not accounting. So yes, right? This probably looks exactly like yours, right? I choose to use the ones that adjust for dividends. Doesn't mean, you know, it's the be all end all, but that's just the setting that I like. So on mine, it's different. That's why it's different. Bing He, hey buddy, good to see you, my friend. Kamal, Bridgewater must be sitting pretty. Yeah, remember, Kamal, we talked about Bridgewater having $1.5 billion in puts. Frank, good to see you. Frank says, you can't erase a loss, the hurt, the cost. Rules, you want to toss. The night is a fright on hands. You sit as stops are blown to bits. You work hard. You want what's due, and the market separates the many from the few. Let me read that again. You can't erase a loss, the hurt, the cost. Rules, you want to toss. The night is a fright, on hands you sit, as stops are blown to bits. You work hard, you want what's due, as the market separates the many from the few. Wow. Just so good, so relevant. Just so lucky to have Joe and Frank in here to be able to put this out every day. Thank you very much. And I'm going to share that if you don't mind. Wade, do you ever skip the strategy when the market is doing horrible things like right now? I try not to, Wade. I try to take my signals no matter what. You know, I do. Steve says, XLE reached the lower fourth deviation channel. Unreal. Yeah, XLE. That was one of the ones that I got 5% stopped on yesterday, but thankfully I got out. I would have had another one right behind it. It's pretty insane. Glenn says, fear and greed gauge is at 23. Anything below 20 is a good entry point for dip buyers. Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of fear and greed. IWM is having a bounce at the 30 RSI 200-day SMA bounce. Confluent if it holds. Yes. It is, so let's take a look at that one. All right, so listen, let's go through. Oh, no, my bad. Okay, so listen, this is the time of the day that I do like to talk about trader psychology. There's some really great channels out there. I like to read them on Facebook and Twitter, and I like to share them with you if I feel like, you know, they resonate with me or I think they would be helpful for the group. This is from Anthony Crudell, quite famous on Twitter, at Anthony Crudell on Twitter. So if you haven't followed him, I would suggest you do. He has some really great content, really great channel. He's a futures trader. What Anthony says was, my worst losing streak came after one out of character days. My worst losing streak came out of one out of character day. So he was out of character for one day. I didn't fully heal when I traded next, and it cost me 10 times what the initial mistake cost. We all have bad days, but make sure you heal before you come back, because that's when a bigger or even career-ending losses may come. Totally makes sense, right? I mean, when you get punched in the face, you have to recover a little bit. And in these last couple days, you know, we've gotten punched in the face. And if you feel like you've been punched in the face a little bit too strong and you have not healed and you're not thinking correctly, just don't trade, right? Just don't trade. And he's 100% right. Keep continuing to trade may cost you 10 times or may blow up your account because you're just not right in the head, right? You're destabilized. I guess the takeaway here is make sure you're not destabilized before you get back in the market if you've had a bad loss. That's where most of the frustration and competitiveness comes from traders when they have a bad day. And like I mentioned yesterday, they try to make it back. Yes, me personally, the last couple of days I got womped up on. But am I thinking, hey, I need to make it back in the next couple of days? It would be nice, but I don't think like that. I'm thinking, okay, this may take a month to make back, right? But it's better to make it back slowly with a real plan and with your wits together than just throwing all caution to the wind and trying to make it back quickly. I'm sure more money has been lost by trying to make profits back or make losses back than probably anything else, right? You start revenge trading. Of course, you've all heard about revenge trading. But anyway, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. But my worst losing streak came after one out of character day. He was out of character for a day. I didn't fully heal when I traded the next time, and it cost me 10 times what the initial mistake cost. We all have bad days, but make sure you heal before you come back, because that's when bigger or even career-ending losses may come. Truer words never been spoken. So thank you so much, Anthony. Oakley dokley. Well, let's take a look at a few things. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I'm actually just going to zoom down a few of these. Apple's holding in. I mean, it's down 3%, but it seems to be holding yesterday's low, which is pretty good. There's not a lot of stocks out there that are holding yesterday's low. 33.02 RSI. I'd like to see this go under 30, over 30, and I would buy it. Adobe bounced off the 50. That's not enough for me. Amazon lost the -1 ATR channel. In the future, we may have a confluence here with the third ATR channel and the 50-day moving average. If I had a nice V1, V2 around here, I might be interested. Or down here, I'd be really interested at the 100, 200 confluence. Boeing, really bad. It didn't go under 30, over 30 yet, but really bad. Berkshire Hathaway, big down day. Holy smokes, lost the 100. Did it test the 30 RSI? Nope, 32.31. Beyond Meat down like everything else. Caterpillar lost the 200-day. That's not good. Here's the DDM, which is the double leverage Dow. It did bounce off the 250. This does back test pretty well with rejection, with the close under the 250, back over the 250. It's right in the middle. Andrea, if you're listening, it's exactly what you and I talked about yesterday. With it did reject the 250, which is positive, but it'd be better if it closed above the 200. So I'm going to watch that one at the end of the day. The Dow, it did reject the 200 on my chart. It is under 30 RSI. However, I still may consider taking a position in this because it did reject the 200 and we've had such a big down move. Doesn't mean it can't go down further tomorrow. I would like it better if it closed above the 30. So I'm going to look at that one. Here's Disney, 28.16 RSI. If it closed back above 30, I would consider buying Disney, but right now it's under. Google, I'd like to buy Google if it went under 30, over 30, but not quite there yet. Goldman Sachs, 28.40. If Goldman Sachs closed above 30, I would consider buying it. If it rejected the 200-day below, I would consider buying it. Home Depot, big down, looks like a bearish engulfing to the downside. IBB getting hammered, nothing there. Intel getting hammered. I'd like to see a confluence down here of a 100-day moving average in the 30 RSI. Steve talked about the 200-day moving average here. It did bounce off the 200. It is close to possibly closing over the 30, which would be a double confirmation on IWM. So I am going to do the numbers on this because this does look promising. Okay, we'll take a little look-see at that later. Whew. Okay, we're down 800 points now. 863 points, excuse me. Okay, Johnson & Johnson, nothing there. CarMax, nothing there. Coca-Cola, nothing there. Lockheed Martin had a little bit of a bounce near the 100-day moving average. Could possibly close above 30. MasterCard just got hammered. Look at this. Although, look, if MasterCard went under 30, over 30, went under the negative or the 100-day moving average and over 30, you know, MasterCard's a great company, and I would definitely be interested in buying the dip on MasterCard, but it doesn't look like right now. McDonald's, nothing there. Merck, I do have, unfortunately, going to have to get out with a close under the 30 at the close of the market. Microsoft, looks like it's holding at the 50-day moving average. That's about it. Give me 1 second. I have to clear something up here in a different account. Okay. Netflix, down, or Nike, down. I would like to see this about the 200-day moving average. Philip Morris, down, nothing there. PayPal, looks like it's bounced off the 200-day moving average. It's not bad. We can watch that one after. Qs, really nasty. I'd like to see the Qs under, over. Silver down, nice trade for Steve. He had this up here. He got out yesterday with this bearish reversal bar. Andrea, we were talking about that last night, you know, getting out, having a big volatility reversal bar, and that's what happened. And he had a great exit on that. So congrats, Steve. SPY under the 100-day, under the 30, so nothing there. SSO under the 30, nothing there either. TLT bonds really strong, too high. Tesla coming back into the value zone. Twitter down 2.37%. UAL, of course, I already got out of that with the 5% emergency stop. Natural gas kind of hanging in there. UNH, boy, look at this. You know, these are insurance, health insurance. So I guess the market's pricing in the cost of possible treatment for the coronavirus. You know, nice confluence down here at the 200 if we went under and back over, and under the 30 back over. Oil down. VIX. I mean, come on. Look at this. Up 13% today. Verizon lost to 200 and the 250. Walmart down, you know, possibly with the rejection of the 200. Energy down huge again, almost down 5% again today. Financials down. This could be interesting if we tested the 200-day, but not there yet. Real estate right down into the value zone now. Utilities also down, it's a little surprising, and healthcare down. So I'm going to tighten up this list here. Gonna have to be careful here today. Currently, right now, the ProShares, which is the double leverage Dow, is not giving me anything. You know, unless it closed above the 250, but currently it is not. The Dow is now under the 200. If it rejected the 200 to close above, I would consider taking it, but not now. Disney is under 30. Google still not under 30, over 30. Goldman Sachs, nothing there. IWM. Let's see, the low today was 155.96. And the 200's 155.93, so it did not test the 200 yet. Lockheed Martin has not tested that. PayPal has tested the 200. The SPY. I don't know if I'm even going to have a trade today, to be honest with you. Let's see what everyone else has to say. Okay, so Zach, do you trade futures at all? No, Zach, I don't. I used to, but I got smart. No, I'm just kidding. Some people do really well at futures. I don't like it because I like to phase out and then you have to buy so many contracts. But I can't even imagine people that own futures right now, long futures. I mean, you know, you get such huge margin on these things. So hopefully they're doing okay. But no, I don't. Zach says, tried to read a book about it a bit, went cross-eyed and went back to Steve's book. Yeah, I mean, you know, trading futures is pretty much the same. It's just that you have the leverage, and then there's different hours also. Mount Doji, my birthday is tomorrow. Hopefully the market gives me some gains. Hey, happy birthday, Mount Doji. Mine was like 10 days ago. So happy birthday, my friend. And I hope the market gives you something too. Jackson says, as Elder says, in trading for a living, they try to take it out on the market or do a little I'll get you. Thank you for sharing these words of wisdom, Greg. You are welcome. Yes, they try to take it out on the market. You're right. Andrea says, yes, DDM looks interesting. It does, but now it's under everything. Celtic. Hey, Celtic. Good to see you. I was looking for a good entry in BABA. Would you be waiting for a washout of the lower, out at the low of 199.15 on January 27th, or am I being too hopeful? Thank you. Well, thanks for coming by, Celtic. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at Alibaba for a while. Well, to me, it kind of looks like it's in limbo here. I would need it to go under 30, over 30, or, you know, at least reject the 100-day moving average or close underneath, close back over. Something like that is what I would be looking for in Alibaba. So you were looking at 199.15. No, that's right about where I'd want to buy it, to be honest with you. Hope that helps, Celtic. Jackson says, happy birthday for tomorrow, May. Even if the market doesn't give you any presents, it's a gift you sit in cash. True, true, true. Mount Doji, a lot of truth. Thank you, Andrea. I've been in VIX since it was $15.95. Keeping it is a hedge. Oh, thank goodness. I'm glad somebody had it. Since $15.95, it's 1970. Fantastic, Andrea. I remember you telling me that. Andrea says, my father was able to buy a car for cash after a good futures trade. Back in the 70s, I think. Yeah, listen, you can make a lot of money in futures, no doubt about it. But you can obviously lose a lot of money in futures also. All right. Well, we're down 957 points at the moment. This is unreal. This is unreal. Let's take a little intraday chart here of Apple, see what's happening. You know, it's a 39-minute chart here. We came down, we held, we bounced, and now we've broken back down. Boy, this is nasty. This is really nasty. So let's go through again. So yeah, nothing on the Dow. DDM. Diamonds possibly if we were also with the third ATR channel, sixth ATR channel. You know, my students know how difficult it is to get something to get to the positive 6 ATR channel or the negative 6 ATR channel. We're right here at this confluence of the 200-day and the 6th ATR channel. If this does close above 270.58, I will take a position in this because of that reason. Walt Disney definitely does not look like it's over 30. Google, Did not go under 30, over 30. Goldman Sachs, you know, if we tested the 200 down here, sure, I'd take a crack at it, but not now. IWM, again, it did not test the low, 155.96. 155.96, and the 200 is 155.93, so about 3 pennies shy of the 200-day. Let's look at some of, well, let's go through the rest, then we'll look. Lockheed Martin, little rejection of the 100 there. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly doesn't really have any support on the weekly. PayPal, not a lot of rejection. Let's see what that looks like on the weekly. And the weekly, we do have the combination of the 50-week moving average lining up with the combination of the 200-day and the third ATR channel. That's not bad. That's not bad. S&P, again, if it closed back over the 30 or if it closed over the 100 on the weekly, does have support at the -1 ATR channel. ProShares still under. Let's look at the weekly. Let me take a look back at the Qs. Didn't go under the 30. Weekly does have some support of the 200 underneath it. So DDM on the daily, it's rejecting the 250. On the weekly, it's under the 50-week moving average. So, you know, that one's somewhat interesting. I'm just going to have to see how it closes. The Dow looks interesting with the rejection of the 200 and the 50 underneath it. Disney, no. Google, no. Goldman Sachs, little rally off the bottom, but no rejection of anything. Now, if the IWM did close above 30, I would definitely consider it. Lockheed Martin, you know, honestly, I mentioned this yesterday, but with everything being down so much, I probably would pick more of the indexes or some really strong, huge name. Not that Lockheed Martin isn't, but so this low here is 109.77. So it has not tested the 200-day. So there is some buying coming in at the 200-day on a lot of these indexes, or some of these indexes, I should say. S&P, no. Double leverage, no. All right, so I am buying the SPY. Of course, what do we have? 15 minutes left. Merck, if it makes a miraculous recovery over 30, I would keep it, but it is not, so it looks like it's on the chopping block at the moment. Andrew says, my father thinks he's smarter than anyone. Well, he was either smart or lucky to get that car, right? Mount Doji says, that's awesome, Andrea. I'm a first-gen trader in my family. Good. Christopher, you can also make a lot of money when the market's going down fast like today, as the market always goes down a lot faster than it goes up. It goes up. 14 weeks of gains have been taken out in 2 days. Yes, you're totally right, Christopher. I've mentioned that several times in the last few months, that, you know, we know the saying, market goes up by the stairs and down by the elevator. I have to tell you guys a story about I mean, since we're talking about futures, when the market closes, I will tell you the futures trade story that actually got me. I stopped trading futures after that. It was pretty epic. I will definitely tell you about it. Mount Doji, I think that's why I'm so interested in it. I remember from the time I was very small seeing him update his paper charts every day. Oh, that's great. Yeah, people used to have to do this by hand, everyone. Bing He says, got to add a MAS, no positions. Okay, so we'll take Bing He out of that. Jackson says, first gen trader here also, but I remember many years ago a family friend sitting at his drafting desk and drawing small lines on his pencil chart. Could you imagine having to do this all by hand? I mean, wow. When I started, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and I was very interested in the markets, I received Business Investors Daily. No computers, but I would read the charts every day. It was pretty fun. All right. ProShares did bounce off the 250. That's a possibility. Now, keep in mind, everybody, ProShares means it's double leveraged. So, double leveraged, if I were to take this, I would take a half position because it's double leverage, which would make it a full position. That makes sense? Because it's double leveraged inherently. So if I was going to buy $100,000 worth of that position, I would only buy $50,000, which would be like buying $100,000. Dow Jones, nice little bounce at the 200. Walt Disney still under 30. Goog over 30 but did not test the 30. Goldman Sachs still under the 30. Russell 2000. Oh, look at this, everybody. Bounce off the 200 and might close over 30. It's 30 right now, so that looks the most likely. All right, I'm going to get rid of Lockheed Martin. I'm going to get rid of Google. I'm going to get rid of Disney. I am going to get rid of Goldman Sachs. I am going to get rid of PayPal. PayPal does look pretty good there, but it didn't reject, right? 190.90, and the low is... Okay, 109.90, and the low was 109.77. Yeah, so PayPal actually did reject this. But tell you what, because of the volatility, I'm going to stick with the indexes today. At least I have more diversification, right? Sorry, here I'm in deep thought, so I'm going to get rid of all right, I'm going to make this simple. So I'm looking at either the Dow Jones, the Russell, and the S&P, and I'll pick which one looks the best. Okay, we have about 10 minutes. Okay, I need to clear something up over here. Zach says, is it always that way for ProShares? You know, there's double leverage ETFs, Zach, and there's also triple leveraged. Like the UPRO is triple leveraged SPY. The SSO is double leveraged SPY, and then single leveraged is obviously SPY. So on DDM, that's double leveraged Dow. I don't know if Dow has a triple leverage. They probably do, but I'm not aware of it. Fear gauge 22, RSI 29, STO 26 looks tempting to buy the SPY at the close. Yes. Would like to see another two gaps filled tomorrow at 30.95 and 30.47 and start adding small buys. Yeah. Yep. Well, you know, a lot of gaps. We had a lot of gaps in the S&P. We had a lot of gaps that got filled. Here was one. Now we have some gaps to the upside also. Remember that. Okay. $270.58, so we are above the 200. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me about 20 seconds. All right, I needed a drink. Not alcohol, but I just needed some water. Bing He says, when I sold at a loss, I kept looking back at the stock to see if price had fallen further to make myself feel better that I had cut loss early. If it went up, I feel bad not holding it. Of course, Ming He. Yep, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, if we have a stock, we probably want it to go down. Makes us feel better, right? I mean, look at XLE. I got out of it yesterday, and now I see this down today. And, you know, honestly, it makes me feel a little better that I got out. Claudia, hey, hello, Greg and everyone. I've been looking into opening an ACC with Vanguard, so I'm trying to do a good entry to start with at a right foot. Do you have any helpful thoughts? Well, I think some of these, Claudia, I think, you know, some of these bounces off the 200, using that as your line in the sand or your stop, it's an excellent place, because if you're wrong, most likely you're going to be wrong small. If you're right, you know, you can, you know, have a really nice gain if it moves up, you know, and it's always about risk to reward. So, you know, I mean, currently, right now, looking at the Dow, you know, this bounce off this 200, I mean, you know, I'm not telling you to do this, but I mean, you're just, you know, you're asking my opinion, but my opinion would be, you know, to buy as close to the 200-day moving average if you're right, stay out if it closes below and stay above it. You know, if that would be, in my opinion, excellent way. Russell, yes, we are down below the 30 again. S&P is way down. Man, am I glad we had that overnight SPY trade on that. I'll tell you what. Glenn says, U.S. health officials say coronavirus will likely cause a global pandemic. Is that the signal to trigger more selling or buying now the news is out? Listen, whenever news is out, Glenn, the market has factored it in. You know, keep that in mind. If the news is out, headlines out, everybody's aware of it, you know, the market calibrates all of that. That is why we are at the price we are at right this moment. Mount Doji says, I'm just doing the overnight SPY trade. Good. Look, we've had some huge down days, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we had an up day. When Claudia and I were doing lessons last night, the futures were up 250. Right? I would have never thought we would have been down this much again. Incredible. All right, we have 6 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get out of Merck. Have to take my loss on Merck. Okay. SPY is all queued up, ready to go. Dow Jones, 270.58 is my level. IWM, $155.96. Did not reject the 200 yet. And the S&P not so hot. Not unless we can get a rally in these last few little minutes here. I think for me, if the Russell closes above the 30 RSI, that would be the best with that bounce at the 200. S&P, I'm probably going to let that one go because I'm taking the overnight SPY trade anyway, and it's confusing. So it's going to come down to the Dow bouncing at the 200, 271, I'm sorry, 270.59 it now is. So that is above. 1 minute to go. Seconds. It's going to be a close one. All right. I am going to take it. Okay. So I did buy, I did buy the Dow right here because it rejected the 200-day moving average. Yes, it is under the 30, but if it closes tomorrow, I mean, it might collapse again tomorrow. You never know, right? But I did take a full position because it closed over the 200-day moving average. So, okay, that's it. Scary times, scary times. So let's see. SPY I bought at 312. I can't believe it's 312. How high it was before. And diamonds I bought at 270.79. Merc is out of there. Boy, this has been tough sledding. Definitely tough sledding lately. Okay. So I have the DIA, which I bought at 270.79. You know, plan for this trade. If it closes under the 200, I'm out. Initial profit target up here, intermediate term profit target up here, 50 RSI, 50-day moving average. Pretty simple there. And then the SPY trade. $312.65. All right, that's about it. Let's see what Apple did over here. Well, Apple did close below the previous day's close there. Most of the day it was hanging in, but could not. Anybody else have any trades or anything they want me to update on the board there? Okay. Oops, sorry. 312.65. Okay, wow, what a day, what a week. Is everybody hanging in there? How's everybody been doing? I'm really glad to hear Andrea has been having some VIX, so I'm glad somebody I know is be able to make some money on that for sure. But listen, things look pretty bleak right now. It's been a bad run, but you know, these things happen, right? Happiness will come around again. We'll have an up market again. We just have to get through this. Don't know how bad it's going to be, but hopefully not too bad. Okay, Jackson says, I just stick to my system. It's the only thing I actually trust and don't trust myself. So true, Jackson. Roku reverting back to its 1 ATR. So indeed, 1 ATR may be good support. Oh yeah, Roku was another one of a bad trade that I had recently. Oops. Wow, Roku is actually up today. Amazing. I remember I bought it 3 days ago here at the rejection of the 200, had to get out the next day. Yesterday really collapsed and actually up today. Did hold at the third ATR channel. Bing He, best not to do that. Instead, trade a completely different market, then it doesn't affect you, your mental position. Very true, Christopher. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, you know, you've already taken the loss on the trade. Why torture yourself by looking at it again? Jackson says, got nothing. Come on, no trades. Jackson says, I'm a professional trade spectator. Well, that is the best paying position in this market. Bing He, yeah, Chris, I'm still trying to learn not to look back after exiting trades, regardless of profit or loss. What matters is I follow rules. True. Zach says, bought the SPY, nothing else. Got out of everything. Get gold stocks. Mr. D, 2003, it will collapse. Well, you know, it very well might, Mr. D. We're going to have to see, right? But thank you for coming, and thank you for your comments. Andrew says, I was hoping to be able to do the IWM trade, but no go. Kamal, DIA 200 SMA is at 272.43 adjusted for dividends. not the one that I have, Kamal. 200 SMA. You can see I have 270.58. Oh, adjust. Let me readjust mine and see if we match up there. Well, closer, but still not for me. You know, again, everybody's going to have little different settings on your charts. The main thing is that you just stick with them and be consistent. Don't go off of my charts if something looks different on your charts. Dr. Jordan says, good hike. Thank you, bud. Appreciate that. Brian, hey, good to see you, Brian. Horrible market with this virus only getting worse. Zach, Greg, what is your opinion on buying stocks based on world impact and not the charts and indicators? For example, last night I read about mRNA and its impact with the coronavirus. Well, my opinion on that, Zach, is it's fine to have an opinion about a stock. But even if I really love a stock and the stock's not acting well, I'm going to enter that stock when I have a signal. So I have a plan. It's hard to enter a stock if you don't have a plan, because if it goes up, what's enough? If it goes down and you like the stock, you think it's going to come back. I think it's great to do your research and find stocks and, you know, good fundamentals about stocks, or like you said, you know, stocks based upon world impact, but you have to have a plan from a technical standpoint, in my opinion. Andrea says, we're all going to die. I hope not. Brian Schwartz, would you take money out of the IRA? Oh, I couldn't really even comment on that, Brian. I don't know your financial situation, you know. I mean, I think a good rule of thumb, though, is if you're scared of everything, just go to cash. Zach said, so I grabbed a small position this morning, but is that foolish since there was nothing to support it? Well, let's take a look. mRNA. mRNA. Whoa, green. Holy smokes. Wow. That's fantastic. Where did you get it at? Where did you get it at, Zach? Is it foolish since there was nothing to support that? Well, I mean, that's, you know, it's hard to say. Oh, but we have earnings tomorrow, though. You know, that's the thing. I usually don't hold through earnings. I don't know. Just make sure you have some plan here, Zach. You got to have some kind of plan. Did it reject the 70 RSI today? It may have. Yeah, it did. I think my best advice on this is, you know, be patient with it while it's going up and be very impatient if it's going against you. Kamal says, this is my happiest crash, thanks to Greg and Mark Douglas. Oh, happy crash. Good indie band back in the 90s. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Happiest crash. Well, good. Maybe tomorrow we'll get dead cat bounce on SPY trade. Possibly. Zach says 2242 will have to unload before earnings. Is earnings in the morning before the market? Make sure you find out if it's before the market, Zach, or if it's in the afternoon. mRNA. Oh, listen, double check on that. I show here it's March 11th. My earnings have been a little off on my charts on the earnings date. I just Googled it and it says March 11th. So no, and here's another one that says February 22nd. All right, well, which one is it? February 26th, pre-market, Zach. So that means it's, if you decide you want to get out, you're going to have to get out of it in the pre-market before the earnings are announced. Jackson says, I feel that even regardless of the market, my emotions add unpredictable volatility and randomness into my trading. So my emotions alone put me at a disadvantage. Yes, for all of us. Jackson says, my rules give me consistency, therefore I can measure this more accurately than random emotions trading. Totally true. I see the 26 as well, Zach says. Hey, I'm going to tell you my nightmare futures trading story. But real quick, let me just put in my quick little plug each day, and then I will tell you this horrible story that you will probably all be horrified by. But I do teach private. I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I do have a course. It's 5 sessions. Each session is between 2 and 3 hours. So it's one-on-one. It's just you and I. I teach you each component of my trading plan. I've been a full-time trader for the last 24 years. I've studied with some real great mentors and teachers like Steve Burns and Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne and Larry Williams. And in my course, I teach you everything I've learned from them, plus all the things I've developed over time. It's an intensive course, really is. Like I said, it's 2 to 3 hours each night. It is $1,000, but I really do think for the money, you get a lot of value because, you basically learn everything I've learned from all my mentors and teachers and experience over the last 24 years. So if you're interested in possibly becoming a student of mine, reach out to me. I usually like to have a Skype call. It's free and there's no obligation, I promise you. I just like to talk to you. You talk to me. I like to find out more about your trading and, some of your challenges and your goals and your experience and so forth. You can ask me any question. And then, if we both feel comfortable moving forward and you want to become a student of mine, take the class, then we'll schedule it up. So anyway, you can reach out to me, send me an email, description of this video, or you can send me a message on Twitter as well. So I think you'll enjoy it. So hit me up on that. And then if you like today's podcast, if you like this channel, if it's helping you, please do me a favor. All I ask is that you hit the thumbs up button before you leave. It does help build the channel, and a lot of people out there need help with trading. So if you could, on your way out, I really would appreciate it. Kamal says, Jackson has seen the light. Yes, he has. Jackson is completely different, everybody. I hope I'm not telling tales out of school here, Jackson. But when Jackson came to me before he took my classes, he had I think he had an entirely different view and approach to what it was to become a trader. And so when I see these comments like this and these good words of wisdom and these realizations he's made, I'm really proud of him. Andrew says, I can tell you that $1,000 you get way more than your money's worth. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate it. I try. I always try to under-promise and over-deliver in everything I do. So thank you so much, Andrea. It's very kind. Okay. So, I've told a little bit of this story before. So I was trading currencies. I was trading Japanese yen. And I can't remember now exactly what, I think with each contract of the Japanese yen, you're controlling, I think $100,000. Not exactly sure. It's been a few years. Of each contract, I think you're controlling $100,000 worth of the Japanese yen. And so it's very, very leveraged. It doesn't cost you $100,000 to buy it, but you're controlling that much. I don't know, maybe it costs $12,000 or something per contract to control. So anyway, I had a position on 2 contracts, full Japanese yen contracts. So controlling about $200,000 worth of the Japanese yen. I had a position, it was doing fine, it was doing great. I went to the gym, I came home, I looked at my computer and it was up nicely. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is great. So, I've hit the buy and sell button a million times in my life, so I'm pretty used to doing it. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a half off here, take half my position off, lock in the profits, half of the profits, and I'll let the other one run a little bit. So, just kind of nonchalantly, I went in. Like I said, 2 contracts. I said, okay, sell 1 Japanese contract, enter, boom, I hear the ding, right? I walk outside. I just hit sell 1, enter, walked outside. This is back when I used to smoke in my smoking days. Smoked half a cigarette, talked to my dog, came back in, looked at my account, and I see that my current position has like a $66,000 loss. $66,000. Remember, 3 minutes before I had a profit in the trade, and I sold one at a profit. I was completely expecting to come back to see a profitable trade. And I see 66, it was 66, 67,000, something like that. And I sat there in shock and went, what the hell? This is impossible. I mean, I was in shock, right? And I was having a hard time putting together what happened. Well, I looked at my activity statement, and what happened was, in this platform, it had a cache system. I don't mean cache like money, but a memory cache system. And when I hit earlier in the day, I had bought like 100 shares of Amazon or something. So my last trade was 100. So when I went in to sell one Japanese contract, I hit the one, and you know how it highlights when you're logging into something? It put in 100. So I sold 100 full futures contracts. So I went from long two futures contracts to short 98 full futures contracts. Can you imagine? For those of you that trade futures, you'll understand my pain. And so I'm looking at this $66,000, $67,000 loss, just going, and listen, if you have a mistake, the proper thing to do is immediately get out. But I literally couldn't get my hand to move to the mouse. I just couldn't do it. Then I saw a flurry of activity and I went, ah! And so I just went, buy 98, right? Make sure there was 98 in there. Buy 98 contracts. And it seemed like it was forever until I got the notification. I mean, this could have been down to $100,000. This could have been down to like $100,000 loss or more. And finally, it probably only took 5 seconds, but it seemed like 15 minutes. It went ding. And then I looked at the report of the trade. I had only lost $2,200 from $66,000, $67,000. The Bank of Japan had just happened to have come out right then and there, and it drove it back down. So from $66,000, $67,000 loss to only like $2,200 loss. I mean, it was unbelievable. I remember I went over to my neighbor and just said, he wouldn't believe what just happened. But here's the thing. Had I stayed outside the whole time to smoke the whole cigarette and come back in, I would have had over a $200,000 gain. So anyway, that's my nightmare story with futures. So one suggestion, if you have a platform that allows cache, memory, turn that baby off if it's web-based, because you don't want to hit one and have something fill 1,000. So it was my fault for not double checking on the trade. So anyway, there is my story. Whew. Andrew says, wow, that sounds super harrowing. What luck you were saved at the end. I know. But of course, human nature, I was like, why didn't I stay out here and smoke a cigarette? Could you imagine walking back to a $200,000 gain? Woohoo! On a mistake. But, oh man. Anyway, that I decided then and there, I don't think I'm going to sell futures anymore. But I like trading stocks better anyway. With my phasing out, it's easier to position size. It's hard to position size with futures contracts unless you use minis and micros and all that kind of stuff. Wow, I got to relive that. All right. Well, doesn't look like anybody has really that many. Yeah, I know, Zach. I'm telling you, right? That was unbelievable. Can you imagine the shock when you're coming back to look at a gain and you see with $66,000, $67,000 loss? It's like, what is happening? right? I mean, 98 full futures contracts short. It's insane. Jackson says, I was on the information journey, learning, absorbing, but I think there's a point where you can get quite confused learning about trading as a newbie. Totally, there is. There's so many different approaches and so many different, some people saying you got to buy the dip, and the other people are saying don't fight the trend. Well, those two are incompatible, right? Bing He says, just something superstitious thing I heard. We have traders here put gold coin beside them when they trade to improve luck. One trader says earning too much from trading may cause cancer. Yeah, could be. Putting the gold coin next to you, not a bad idea. Can't hurt, right? Jackson says, I understood technical aspects, but my mind needed work. I am actually convinced that with all the knowledge, logic isn't enough if you're not disciplined to follow your own rules. You can be super smart and have lots of knowledge. I mean, totally, know it like the backside of your hand. But if you're not disciplined, it doesn't work, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why the psychology part and the discipline part is the most important skill. It's not learning the technicals and the setups. I mean, you have to learn those, but it's, at the end of the day, those are pretty kind of mechanical. It's not the hard part of trading. Jackson says, Greg was so instrumental in helping me realize this and forever grateful. Thank you, Jackson. The best thing I like about my students is that I get to spend a lot of time with them and really get to know them and consider them friends and people that I know well because we spend so much time together. And that goes for Jackson and Andrea lately and, all my students. I mean, I've loved all my students. Kamal. Well. Holy smokes, I just saw Bob Iger is going to step down as CEO of Disney. Wow. Wonder what that's doing to the stock. Oh, goodness. It's down 2.24% on that news, in addition to what happened today. Okay, it's just unbelievable to me. We've lost almost 2,000 points in the last 2 days. Plus the day before that was no rainbow and sunshine either. So, I mean, we're close to 2,400 points, 22, 23, somewhere in there, just off the top of my head in the last few days. Unreal. All right, everybody, listen, I'm going to leave you with two things. First of all, please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today, just a smile or a wave or a hello or just a nice, kind gesture. You really may have a really nice, positive impact on them going forward. You really might, right? Really improve their day. You'll never know, but you may change their way where no one else had made any type of nice effort towards them. So, please try to do something nice each day for an animal, for a human, ideally both. And also, again, if you like today's podcast and you like this content and it's helping you, I really would appreciate it just on the way out if you could just take half a second and click that thumbs up button. Jackson says, and I paid lip service to the psychology element of trading, but knowing it and embracing it, completely life-changing. Yeah, there's a total difference. No doubt about it. A lot of people know stuff. If we want to lose weight, we know what to do with lose weight, eat better foods and you exercise, but you could be the best research dietitian, scientist in the world and know all this, but you know how to do it, but it doesn't mean you do it. Well, interesting times, everyone. Interesting times. Please position correctly. Follow your rules. Don't be impulsive. We'll turn back around one of these days. Just don't know when, but we will. So Jackson says, thank you, Greg. Appreciate everything you do, and everyone else, take care. Thank you, Jackson. Appreciate it. And Zach, appreciate you. Celtic, thanks for coming by. Thanks to everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And let's take a look there. Really great. Anthony came by today. Thank you, Anthony. Really nice to see you again. Okay. And Deanne, thank you again so much, Deanne, for that nice email. Really, really nice. Made my day. Really made my day. Okay, take care. Have a good weekend, Have a good night, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see what this market does again. All right, take care now. Bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.